When we focus on our manifestation goals with intense emotions, we move energy into those goals. But if your subconscious structures don't support those goals, you will most likely run into some resistance, and this is perfectly natural. So one of the key components to creating your manifestation goals is to restructure the way your subconscious mind thinks of those manifestation goals. In other words, you will need to create new extended boundaries within the subconscious mind so the resistance can begin to fade away and allow you to allow your manifestations to show up. Our manifestation goals are generally larger than our current experience. That's what makes them goals. They go beyond what a person has already created. Sometimes this is because a new desire is born, and sometimes it's because the desire has been there, but there's a boundary set up somewhere within the subconscious mind. Any boundaries within the subconscious framework block a person's perception from seeing this manifestation show up as their reality. It may be that the manifestation is easily accessible. In fact, that's probably the case. But the perception will not be opened up enough to see it because the subconscious mind is working with structures that have not been challenged. When we begin to focus on a goal, we create a lot of forward momentum. It's only that the rest of us needs to catch up with that momentum. However, it can be the case that when a person encounters something that goes against what they are attempting to create, it will cause them to revert back to the old framework within the subconscious mind and oftentimes take a defeatist attitude. But think of it this way. If you've ever stuck your hand out of the window of a moving car to feel the wind on your hand as you go forward, you are encountering resistance. The car is moving forward towards its intended goal quickly, but you can feel the resistance against your hand. And the faster you're moving towards your goal, the more resistance you are likely to feel in the initial stages until you begin to close in on the goal itself. And as I just stated, this is perfectly normal. It's a natural part of the creation process, and yet it throws many people off. So resistance really isn't something to worry about. And we can start breaking down any structures in the subconscious mind that believe resistance means you won't achieve your manifestation goal, just with the simple forward momentum analogy just given. And the number one thing to remember when you recognize any resistance is that reacting to that resistance negatively will only cause it to grow. Recognize it, acknowledge that it's a part of the process and growing phase, or outgoing the current circumstance phase, and keep building your momentum forward. Keep your thoughts and emotions focused on the prize. In this way, you begin to lessen your resistance and change your subconscious structuring. In other words, know that any resistance that you encounter means that you are producing forward momentum, which is the initial phase of a new creation. You're moving yourself on the map towards your goal and will encounter many things as you take that journey. You don't have to necessarily ignore something you don't like, just become aware of it without giving it any of your energy. Tell yourself, "Oh, I see that," but those things generally show up when forward momentum begins. It's not a big deal. It's just a part of the path. With your continued forward momentum, your manifestation becomes more and more crystallized as a physical reality. You have to get from A to B on the map, and there's a process to do that. Your energy nurtures a creative seed that comes into fruition. The next way to remove this subconscious resistance is by realizing that not perceiving your manifestation in physical reality just yet is merely an illusion that the barriers in your mind have constructed. When you create a recognition that your manifestation is actually something quite available now, and that it is only a barrier stopping you from experiencing it, you can label that barrier as a false illusion. This helps your mind realize that it's not actually a stretch to believe that you can have this experience. What you are effectively doing is detaching from the resistance. A wonderful way to do this is by using your mind to imagine a little tiny brick wall surrounding your manifestation goal in your mind. You can see your manifestation very clearly, but there's this itty-bitty, minuscule little wall surrounding it. Then imagine a large wrecking ball smashing through that tiny wall and obliterating it. Once you've successfully imaged this, see your manifestation experience becoming brighter and more vivid, as if the sun just shone brightly on it. You can practice this simple exercise as many times as you wish to begin telling your subconscious mind, in its language, that you don't have a barrier regarding this thing. It may sound simple or even silly, but you might be amazed at how well it works. And if you still find yourself focusing on the fact that you aren't experiencing what you would really like to be experiencing, you can redirect your focus once again by asking yourself a few simple questions like the following. What would I ultimately like to be experiencing right now? What would I ultimately like to experience with this manifestation goal? What feeling states would I prefer to feel in this moment? What choices can I make right now to experience these things? Which positive things am I currently experiencing in my life? What images can I pull up in my mind that cause me to feel good? If you've ever had the experience of being sick, you don't want to not be sick anymore. You want to be healthy. In other words, you move your mind from a focus of what you don't want and into a focus of what you do want by using questions such as the ones just given. Creating is all about evolving. It's about moving away from something that was once created and into a new experience. Start where you are and keep moving forward. Realize that you are breaking down old paradigms and creating new ones with your focused energy. In this way, you flow that powerful energy that you hold in a very distinct direction, one that adds even more momentum towards your manifestation goal and crushes any old resistance that once attempted to stand in its way.